In today's tutorial, let's learn how to do the Jewelled Snowflake. It's a double-sided pattern, and you can also make stuff inside of this, whether it's stuffing, potpourri, or more. Let's begin that right after this. Welcome back to the Crochet Crowd as well as yarnspirations.com. I'm your host Mikey. Today we're going to make the Jewelled Snowflake, and this is a generous size, and this is using Karen's Simply Soft Party yarn. It's got the shine without the scratch. Now this is a double-sided pattern, and the motif on the inside is actually two round circles just like this. So there's one on the one side and there's one on the other. Now the interesting thing about this is that just because they are both identical to each other, because you don't need to really do that. You can actually make one side a different color and then the other side a different color. The only thing that does go through both is the gray area, the fuchsia, and then this gray area once again. So you can really have a lot of fun with making it double-sided but not identical on both sides. So that's kind of fun. So in today's tutorial we're going to be going through the pattern. It is in written instruction as well as crochet diagrams, and it's actually really kind of easy to follow, and I'm gonna be showing you some tips in order to do so. So here's the written instructions. It does call for 4 balls of Karen's Simply Soft Party. You don't need a lot. So you can actually mix and match your colors, and you can just have a lot of fun with it. It's really kind of an easy pattern to begin with, to be honest with you. So it has a version 1 and version 2. All the differences is that there's a color change. So it comes also with the crochet diagram that's on the second page. Now the crochet diagram, do not get confused by this, because the round circle in the interior is actually a motif just like this, and you have to do both of those before moving on to being able to do 1, 2, and 3 of the final, or 1, 2, 3, and 4 of the final here in order to bring it together. So you have to have both of those done. So what I'm saying to you at this point is that when you go to do this, you have to do 2 of these anyway, for one for the front, one for the back. It is easier to do this in sections. So for example, when we go to start off here with the gray, is that do the other one at the same time, and then come back and then do the next section and do the other one at the same time, and keep going with that, because what's gonna happen is that you don't have to keep looking back at these instructions, because you'll remember what you did. And you might have to go a little bit, but it's easier just to kind of do both at the same time. If you're gonna do a whole gamut of these at one time, why not just do them all basically at the same time? So all the center circles move on, and then all the next section move on, and etc, etc, etc. So this is a really kind of an easy pattern to begin with, and you just gotta just be able to follow along just like so. Before we get started, the instructions call for us breaking yarn and changing our yarns in the last stitches of certain rounds. For this particular tutorial I'm gonna ad-lib a little bit and make it easier for you in order to stop and start. I found with myself when I start carrying yarn I actually get confused and I start losing counts and etc. So you can either follow the instructions as it's written, or you can follow the way that I'm doing it here. Either way you're gonna be successful and have the same look. I'm just one of those people, I like to have clean lines so that I really cannot see my anywhere I'm slip stitching, and because I'm fastening off every time I'm doing a round, it actually does a nice clean finish no matter how you look at it. So let's begin to do the center motif. So you have to get this far on both of the motifs so that when you put them together they will be sandwiched up and you'll have both of the front and back. As I have already mentioned, you don't have to do both of these of the same color, so the back side can be a completely different mix if you want to. But our goal is to get this far in here before moving on to the rest of it, because once we get this far the two come together and then we just finish them off, and this creates the puff in the center. Let's starting off with the gray. We're gonna need a 3.75mm crochet hook today. What is that, a size G I believe? Size G, like so I'm buying time, size that's a size F, so you can use a size F. I'm using a 4mm crochet hook, a little bit bigger today on camera, just so that I'm transparent and you know what I'm up to. Let's begin now. So let's begin to do a slip knot. Remember that there are slower tutorials available on YouTube at any time that you wish to learn. Let's begin with a slip knot. Remember that it never ever counts as one. We're going to chain 4. So 1, 2, 3, and 4, and we simply come into the beginning chain, yarn over, and pull through and through, and that's a slip stitch, and we're gonna have a ring just like this. So let's begin the first round. So we have chaining of 3. 1, 2, 3. Those familiar with double crochet know that that chain 3 counts as a double crochet. So it's asking you to do 15 double crochets into the center of this ring. So with the 15 plus this one, it gives you a total count of 16. It is imperative in this particular project that you keep your counts all accurate. So just make sure that you are counting accurately. So just going into the center of the ring, so it's just double crochet, wrap the hook, going in, pulling it through, and double crochet. So that was 1 and 2. This is 3, 4, that's 5, it's 6, it's 7, and 8, 9, 10, 11, it's 12, 13. And if you're missing, if you don't have enough to go, just shift everything. It's in a ring by itself. That was 13, 14, and 15. So you will have a total count, if you include the first chain 3 as one of them, as a 16 count. You're just gonna slip stitch into the top of the chain 3, pull through and through, and fasten off. Now I'm gonna fasten off at this point. In the instructions it said to change over to your yarn and then break this color. Break means basically just ending it. So basically I wanna show you my way because I think my way is more convenient for myself. I don't lose count as easily as I do the other way. So I'm gonna trim my yarn, and I'm gonna do this every time, so I'm only gonna show it one time. So I'm just gonna yarn over, pull through, and this locks it, and I just wanna pull it snug. Don't over tighten it because you need to get into there, and just go into your stitches and just weave through 4 stitches, because the next time you go around on this you're gonna go over top of these stitches and this string is gonna lock into position. Okay, so I'm just weaving in and out. I'm gonna leave this string, but I know that this string is done in the back. This is on the interior of the snowflake, so you don't have to go crazy and get rid of too many strands. It's kinda neat because it'll be buried in behind. Let's move up to the next round. Let's begin our next color, and because I fastened off, I gotta fasten on, so I'm going to use a slip stitch or slip knot to start, and I'm gonna go into any one of these in a row. So any one, just pick any one. I never tend to go into the same one if I don't have to, because it just means that the slip stitching will not be obvious when you go to change. It's just a personal preference. So I'm just gonna pick one, any one, and I'm gonna take both straggler and the string and wrap it around the hook and pull through and through. Okay, so because this is so thick I count that as one of the stitches, so you're ready to go. And as per the instructions it says to single crochet into the same stitch. So we're gonna single crochet, and notice how I'm holding this strand down on top. I want to trap that underneath. So the repeat pattern on this is 2 single crochets, and the next one is 1 single crochet by itself. So the next stitch will be 2 single crochets. And you see how I'm trapping that straggler in a position? Once I get it under enough, I'm just gonna flip it to the back, and then I'm not gonna worry about it because it is the interior. So the next one will be 1 single crochet, and the next one will be 2 single crochets. Okay, do you see that repeat pattern? So the next one is 1 and the next one is 2. Continue to do that all the way around, and I'll meet you back here in just a moment. I'm coming up all the way around, and I'm gonna tell you how to keep count. So I have 2 stitches left. Here is 1 by itself because the last one was 2, and so the next one is a 2 just to keep it in balance. So the next one and the final one is 1 single crochet. So if you are going all the way around and all of a sudden the last one that you need to put in 2 because you think that's what it is, then chances are you've messed up on the count somewhere going all the way around. Now as per the pattern in this particular row, when we go to do this, is that there should be a total of 24 stitches going all the way around. Counts are important on this one, so we have to make sure we keep that. So once you get all the way around, I want you just to slip stitch to the beginning, just like this, where we did the slip knot, and pull through and through, and I want you to fasten off just like I showed you before, and then we're gonna move up to round number 3 together. Let's begin round number 3. So round number 3, I'm gonna have you start off with a slip knot if you're doing it the way that I'm showing, and if not, you can follow the pattern if you prefer that method instead. So what I want you to do is that I want you to start anywhere, but not just anywhere. We have to look to where we are in the pattern. So what I want you to do is I want to look for where there's 2 stitches into one. Okay, so you see that there's 1 there, this one has 2, and what I want you to do is that I want you to look for the one on this side. Okay, so just go into that one, and I want you to yarn over for both the straggler and the yarn, pull through and through. That counts as 1, so we want to do a total counts of 3 chains for this one. So that's a total count of 1 so far, and I'm gonna let the straggler fall out of position, like out of the way. So that was 1, 2 and 3. Okay, so now what we need to do is that we need to establish this pattern. Now in this particular one here, you'll see that there's a stitch that looks really long at this point. This is coming down from this round here, coming all the way down, and what we're going to be doing is that we're going to be going into some stitch work here, but on this one here it's going to go on a back loop only, so it leaves the front loop so you can attach this one back down in, and it'll make sense in just a little bit. So to begin, what we have to do is that the next one that you have is going to be 2 double crochets at the same one, 1 and 2. The next one is going to be 1 single crochet by itself. So this is where I want to stop you and just show you where the repeat pattern is. So the repeat pattern at this point is going to be 1 double crochet by itself, there's going to be 2 in the next one, and then 1 by itself. The next one is going to be in the back loop only, so when we come back to the next round it's going to be diving into the front loop of this one here. So we have to, if you can remember that there's 1 double crochet by itself, 2 together, and 1 in between where we're going to do the back loops, you're going to remember this so much easier. So in the next one we want to double crochet but on the back loop only. So if you're not familiar with back or front loops, what happens is in a stitch there's 2 strands. So if I go in the front strand only, that's a front loop, and if I go in the back strand only, it is the back loop, and if I go into both of them, that's called a stitch. So the next one is going to be a double crochet in the back loop. Okay, and we double crochet as normal. And what this is doing, it's leaving that front loop right there available to you next time that you need to use it. Now I've already explained to you this is the repeat pattern, 1 double crochet, 2, and then 1. So that's gonna happen in between these back loop spots. So the next one is 1 double crochet into the stitch, so not to the back loop but into everything, into the full stitch. And you're gonna notice that this one kind of sits a little bit offset because it is into a back loop. The next one is 2 double crochets into the same one, and the next one is 1 double crochet by itself, and then we're the next one then that's your repeat pattern. So the next one is a front or back, sorry, a double crochet in the back loop only. Okay, so let's repeat this again. So the next one is 1 double crochet by itself in the full stitch. The next one is 2 double crochets into the same stitch, and the next one is 1 double crochet into the full stitch. Okay, so the next one is 1 double crochet into the back loop. So I'm going to continue around. So the next one is in the full stitch for 1 double crochet by itself. The next one is 2 double crochets into the same one. Okay, the next one is 1 double crochet by itself, and now the next one is 1 double crochet into the back loop. So you will have a total of 6 of these back loops. So I can clearly see it here. You see how it looks different? So 1, 2, 3, I just did number 4. So let's keep going. So 1 double crochet by itself. The next one is 2 double crochets into the same one. Okay, the next one is 1 double crochet by itself, and then the next one is back double crochet back loop. Okay, let's keep on going. So the next one is 1 double crochet by itself. The next one is 2 double crochets. Okay, the next one is 1 double crochet by itself, and the final one that you have here, and the only one that's left, is double crochet back loop. So that is your final for this one here. I want you to just insert into the top of the beginning chain 3 that you started with and just fasten off at this time. So basically you can, I can see it better on camera than I can in person, but you can see that you have 6 stitches that look a little offset, and we're gonna be playing with those after this. So here's what it looks like at this point. So we have the green, but now you see that this purple is overlapping from this round here. So what's gonna happen is that we're gonna go around with single crochets. There's some a little bit of fancy stitch work as far as it counts, but then every now and then we're gonna just jump down, and it will be total of 6 times that it jumps down. But this is what it looks like right now, and where it jumps down is those front loops that are exposed and ready for you at this particular point. You can see those here. So let's begin our next color. So I want to use the same color. So this is what makes this effective. So if you use a color here, you're gonna want to use the same color here that overlaps. Again, that's a personal preference, and that's what I'm gonna do too. So let's begin to do this one here. So because I am fastening off and on, is that I can go in anywhere that I wish, but I have to be careful that I'm going into the right stitch. So you can fasten off and on like it's telling you in the pattern, or you can just follow my way. So right now you can see that this is a front loop that's exposed, and you can see that basically there's 6 different times. I want you to go to the stitch that is directly to this side of it. Okay, so here it is, go to this side. Okay, because this video is filmed in left and right, I can't just say left or right because it is different. Okay, so please go to this side, and that's where we're going to fasten on our project, our next round. So create a slip knot first. Okay, and there is a repeat pattern, and it is simple. So again, let's just rotate this and look for it. So I want to look for where that is showing. So there's one right there. Okay, so I want to go to this side, and I want to insert into the stitch that's on top of that. Okay, just wrap both and pull through, and I'm going to say that that's one complete stitch because it just makes it look nicer in the end anyway. So the next one that's available to you should be a V stitch. Okay, so there's 2 double crochets in there. So that one there is going to get 2 single crochets. So 1 and 2, and the reason for this is that we still have to grow this circle bigger, so you can't just go all the way around with a single. You have to compensate for the growth as well. So the next 2 stitches that are available to you will be 1 single crochet each, and if your count is right, this should take you to the stitch that is just before the other one here, and this is the front loop down here, so it should take you just right to here. Okay, if you've started in this section properly. So we're going to do a treble. So we're gonna wrap the hook first and go into the front loop. So I come up from the underside, from the bottom and through, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, 2 and 2. So now that my treble is complete, I want to make sure that I skip over that same stitch that is representing on the green side. So I want to come to the next one over, and I want to put in 1 single crochet into the next one. Okay, so on the back side it appears that we have skipped a stitch because we have. So let's just turn this back around, and the next one is going to be 2 single crochets. So 1 and 2, and then the next 2 are 1 single crochet each. 1 and 2, and this should take you again to the stitch right before the drop down again. So, and it does. So treble into the front loop of the next stitch all the way down into the purple section. You could have a different color. Come up from the bottom side, yarn over, pull through 2, 2 and 2. Let's keep on going. So we're going to skip over one of the stitches, the next one, and go to the second over, single crochet. The next one is going to have 2 single crochets. So 1 and 2, and the next 2 are 1 single crochet each. I just remember that. It's no trick to it. I just remember, and that'll take you to the one right before we drop down again. So drop down by trebling, go into the front loop all the way down here, and yarn over and pull through 2, 2 and 2. Skip that same stitch on there and just single crochet into the next. There's going to be 2 single crochets into the next one, 1 and 2, and then the next 2 are just 1 single crochet each. Okay, and that takes you right before the next one. So treble, front loop. Okay, we skip that next stitch that is representing that one, and then we come to the next one, one single crochet, the next one is two. Okay, the next two are one single crochet each, and this should take me right before the next one, which it does. So there it is there. So trebling down, going up like so. Okay, skip that stitch, go to the next for one single crochet, the next is two. Okay, the next is a single crochet and a single crochet, and the final stitch of this whole revolution is one treble down. So just come up. So that's the final of this. So because I had you start exactly where I showed you, this will always be the last one, and that's just to keep you in line with what the pattern is asking you to do. So that's why I had you do that. So let's try that again. So wrap and wrap, coming up. So even though I'm having you fasten off and doing all this extra little bit of work, you'll have cleaner lines, but it's important that you start at the very beginning and then just slip stitch to the top where you started, like so. And please fasten off at this time as well. So now you should have a total, and do the next one, and you should have two of these before moving on to the next round. So coming back to my example, you can see that I've got the basically this one has the green instead of the purple, and so now we're going to start, and this gray is the same gray that appears on the other side. Okay, so everything from this point on is actually the same. So it's the same yarn that you can see on both sides. So at this point, if you want to put anything inside of this, you're going to want to do so before finishing this next entire round, because you can actually put like potpourri or kind of fun things inside. I wouldn't recommend putting catnip in there, because then your cat will go crazy all over the all over the tree. So let's begin to do the next round, and I'll show you exactly where to start, and we're gonna be playing with both of these at the same time. So I need you to grab up your yarn. So let's just get your yarn on the hook first. So we're just gonna start off with a slip knot, and let's just get the yarn ready. So what I want to do is that I want to look for the stitch that is the next one over from where these drop down. So the next one to this side. Okay, so let's insert a hook. So on the other side, you need to make sure that you turn it so that the back side is facing each other. Okay, so it says in the instructions these are the wrong sides. They want to face each other, so whenever I turn this project, you will be able to see the good sides on both sides. So because I've gone in this side here, okay, so I've gone to this side, I want to do the same for the other side. So coming in, and this side I have to come into this side of it here. Okay, does that make sense? So look where it is here, and look where it is here. Okay, so you can see that it's on the same side of the hook. Okay, so up and down. So let's just wrap the yarn around here, pull it through and through, and I'm going to count that as a single crochet to begin because it is thick, and I'm gonna let the straggler fall in the interior of it so that you'll never see it anyway. And let's begin. Now this counts as a single crochet already, so what I want you to do is that I want you to single crochet, so you go into the next one available to you, and you just pop this over and go into the very next stitch that's available on the other side. Okay, once you get enough of these, you sandwich them together and you can insert into one and it will go into the other, and I want you to single crochet. So that's two single crochets in a row. The next one I want you to put in two single crochets because we're getting slightly bigger, so we have to grow. So do you see how I'm just feeding both of them? And I want to put two into this one. So that was my growth. So there's two in this one. So the next five are gonna be one single crochet each. So going into one side and the other, pulling it through. That's one. And once you get enough on here, you can just insert it right through and it will go through. So that was two. It's three, 4 and 5, and the next one is going to be two single crochets. So this is growing up a little bit bigger. So 1 and 2 into the same one. Okay, so the next 5 are gonna be by themselves. So coming in to both, so 1 It's 2, it's 3, 4, and 5. And then the next one is going to be 2 into the next one. So 1 and 2. Continue to do that all the way around. I'll meet you back up and I'll show you how to finish this round. And remember, the back side should be, or the wrong side should be in the middle. So if you want to put anything in, now's the time to do so, because by the time you get around, everything will be sealed and this whole interior will be locked down permanently. So I want to show you a cheating technique. In the off chance, and I think I actually have an off chance myself, is that one side I have 3 stitches left, which is I should, and the other side I have 4. So what I wanted to do is that I want to show you how to cheat the system, because I don't want you to have to frog your whole project in order to bring back in balance. So I've just done 2 double crochets in a row. There should only be 3 left. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to go into the first one, and I don't want to lose my counts. So if I only have 3 left on the other side, I don't want to mess up my counts at all. So I'm just going to just insert into the stitch, just like so, and single crochet for 1, going into the next one for 2, and then I'm going to go into the next one for 3. But I don't want to finish this stitch. I'm going to go into this last one and back into the same one again, and so there'll be 2 loops on the hook, and so then that was my finish, and then I'm gonna join it. So sometimes you gotta fake it or make it. In this case I don't want to frog my work. If I'm off, I'm gonna notice in the next round, and therefore I can adjust, and then once you adjust it once, it's gonna be good. So this is what it looks like at this point, and you can see it's got some thickness to it and it's looking quite fabulous. So half the secrets to crochet is knowing when to cheat the system when you can. So please fasten off this yarn and let's get our next color ready. So let's start our next round. So the next round is really important on where you start. So what we're going to do is that I want you to look for where these are. Okay, so these drop downs, and what I want you to do is just follow it up and go to the second one over. So don't go to the one right above it, go to the second one right there. So it didn't matter. So let me turn. So if I follow it up, don't go to the same one on the top, go to the second one over and insert your hook. So what I want you to do is to put your yarn on your hook first. It's a slip knot. Look again. Don't go to the one right up, go to the one right over. And let's wrap the straggler and the yarn around, pull through and through, and I'm going to count that as a single crochet because it's thick. So the next stitch that's going to be to you is a half double crochet. So wrap the hook first, leave that straggler down on top so you can trap it, and then the next one is 2 double crochets. So 1 and 2 into the same one, and now we're going to do 3 picots, and I'm gonna show you this several times, so don't worry about being left behind. So to do a picot, we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Insert your hook into the first one of the 3 chains, just to one strand, and pull through and through. That is 1. We want to do that 2 more times. So again, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, going into the exact same stitch or chain that you went into already before, pull through and through. So they all come back to the same chain right here. Do it one more time. So chain 3, 1, 2, 3, coming into the same one again. So once you do it once, it's just easier to do the other 3 or the other 2. So now come in back down again, and you're gonna put 2 double crochets into the same stitch of the next one. Okay, so this is creating a point for you, and then the next one is going to be a half double crochet, and the next one is going to be a single crochet. So what I'm looking at this point is that the next stitch is right above this point here. We want to leave that empty, so we're gonna chain 1 first, skip over it, and then single crochet into the next one. I'm just gonna move that straggler out of the way in the back. I don't want it going over for me. So basically, if you end up with this single crochet right over top of this, you know something is wrong with your counts. So we started just 1 over, so that there's nothing right above any of these. Let's begin again. So we already have a single crochet. We're going to start off with a half double, and then the next one is 2 doubles into the same one. So 1 and 2. Okay, now we want to do our picots. So 1, 2, 3, okay, and I want to come into the starting one of the 3, pull through and through. Do it again. 1, 2, 3, come into the exact same chain that you already did, pulling it through and through, and then do it one more time. So 1, 2, 3, same stitch, pull through, make sure you pull through and through everything, and then we could start the other side of the point. So it's gonna be 2 double crochets in a row. Now when I originally saw this, I was thinking, man, those picots might be a pain, but they actually go really quick, so I wasn't worried about it once I got started. So those assumptions you make when you look at a pattern. So the next one is a half double crochet, and then the final one is a single, and look, I'm finishing just the one right before this, which means I'm right, and I chain 1 and then I jump over and just single crochet again and then start again. So I'll show it one more time. So half double. Okay, the next one is a double for 2 times, and then a picot. So 1, 2, 3, insert into the first one, pull through and through. Okay, do it again. So 1, 2, 3, insert into the same one. Okay, try again. 1, 2, 3, coming in. So it leaves like a clover look. And now I want to start the other side of this, so it's going to be double crochet 2 times in the same one, followed by a half double, followed by a single. And look at that, I'm just finishing one prior to this one here, so then chain 1 and jump over that next one and single crochet into the next. Continue to do that all the way around, and you can see this really taking effect. So I'm coming up all the way back around, and I'm just finishing off this round here, and I'm making sure that I chain 1 and then just slip stitch it to the beginning over here. So that, remember, don't forget to skip that last one because you started on this side of where you see it here. So please fasten off this color. We're gonna use our final color for this whole thing. The next 2 rounds are using the same color, and you should have 6 points at this point. Again, really quite fun and easy. So in the next round that you see, we're going to be doing this stitch work here. This is consisting of chains first, and then we come back later on the next round to put all our single crochets around the chain. So you're actually looking at 2 rounds for this final. Let's begin, and we are going to do a slip knot and insert our hook, and let's get ready for that. For this next part in the tutorial, you don't have to worry about where you finished off last time. I want you to look for the chain 1 space. Any one of them is okay right in the middle. Okay, and so you can just go right in. Okay, so it could have been over here as well. Just look for the chain 1 and just wrap your hook around both, or wrap this yarn strand around and pull through, and that counts as your 1 single crochet. So we want to hide this straggler, so what I would recommend is that you start chaining, and don't make it too long, just make it like as you see it here, and we need to chain 6. So 1 and then 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. I can trim this safely out, no problem. I want you to come to the middle one of the picot and just look at it. There's kind of a 1, 2 and 3. Just come in, and there's actually a space there. Okay, and just go right into the space, single crochet, and then chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Come to the middle of the chain 1 space, right in, and then chain 6 again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Come to the middle one of the 3 of the picot. You will see it. It's just a matter of getting used to seeing it. This is my second time going through this project, and I see it right away. You will see it as well too. You just got to get used to it. So chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Coming into the chain 1 space, and I'll do it one more time. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, middle of the picot, okay, on the edge. So continue to do that same patterning going all the way around, and then we're gonna do our final round coming up after that. So I'm coming up all the way around, and I'm just finishing off. So that was 3, 4, 5 and 6, and we just slip stitch to the beginning single crochet. So right where I joined it is where we're going to slip stitch this, and then we're gonna move on to the final round. So the final round also includes a handle. So it has a chaining of 32 that you can see. If you want it shorter, that's up to you. It's a personal choice, but we're gonna do it, and we can do it at any point going all the way around. We just have to make sure that it's on a point. Okay, so don't do it in the middle like that unless you want it to hang like that. Okay, you can do it that way, or you can do it this way. Choice is basically up to you. So we have picots here on the edges. That's what's making it pop out. So instead of the picot on the one side, you're going to do chain work on that instead. So let's begin, and let's start that round next. So we're immediately not gonna chain one at all. You're just gonna start. So you're just gonna come around, and you're going to put in 8 single crochets around the chain. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, just like that. So what's gonna happen on this particular one is that we only had chain 6 there. Because you have 8, it will bulge out to create the beautiful shape that you see. Okay, see how it bulges out? That's because you're putting in more stitches than the chain will allow for. So at the top of this, we want to put in a single crochet into this single crochet right here, and we want to do a picot. So a picot is chaining 3, 1, 2, 3, coming into the beginning, chain 1, wrapping around and through. Okay, so there's your picot. So start again. So you just immediately jump to the chain and do another 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay, and we immediately jump over this one. So this one is in the middle of where the points are. We immediately just jump over and just start the next chain. So for 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay, so what I want you to do, I want to show you how to do the chain. If you want to do the chain for the hanging, you can do it at any point, but I'll show you how to do it next. So we're gonna put in a single crochet first, and we're going to chain 32. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 32, and then I want you to come back down and single crochet into the same one, and that basically there is your loop. Okay, so now continuing all the way around is that every time you're in these gapping spaces, it's gonna be 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Now we're not at a point, so we just immediately jump over to the next one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So this is a point, so we're gonna go back to the picot area because we only do one chain, right? So we single crochet first, and then chain 3. 1, 2, 3 into the top, pull through and through, and then chain 8, or sorry, single crochet times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, and continue in that same fashion and going all the way around, and this is making it beautiful and thick. So we're just gonna go from the light chain to the thicker, and when we come back I'll finish off and I'll show you how to do that. When you get all the way back around, all you just need to do is slip stitch to the beginning single crochet that you started with and just fasten off and weave in your ends, and therefore your ornament is then done. So this is how you do a jeweled snowflake. This is our tutorial version right here, and this is my original practice sample. These are really quite stunning. They're really quite pretty. They can even be like a gift topper even if you don't do the chain, and it'd be really quite amazing. So until next time, I'm Mikey on behalf of Yarnspirations as well as thecrochetcrowd.com. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope that you have a fabulous holiday. And this is one of the very first projects of 2015 for Christmas. Until next time, we'll see you.